Welcome to the Kindness Project, the podcast designed to share stories of kindness and share how kindness can make positive change in our world, one small act at a time. This time on the Kindness Project, gaming, eggs, and what we can learn from the Daems about kindness. Hi and welcome to episode 2 of the Kindness Project. I'm joined by Charlotte, who's the cleverest person I know, who also believes that Easter's in February.
And I'm joined by Daems, the man who loves games so much he probably thinks of days as levels.
Now, I don't know what's going to stick more. You calling me the jazz man, which is just weird, or think of days as levels. But as we're on level 42 today, maybe you're correct. And Easter, when's that again, Charlotte?
Oh, shush. It's only because February half term, and we also have an Easter half term, but sometimes I mix them up.
Yep.
So I think that the February half term is the Easter half term. I think they're one and the same.
Yeah,
but they're not.
They are different dates.
But they are very close together.
So I'm thinking, what's gonna, out of all of our introductions, because we've got a different introduction for each podcast. Yeah. What one's gonna stick the most? So
I've got a few shockers.
Well, I'm waiting to hear the rest. But I'm thinking of, we do a little Twitter poll, #Jazzman or hashtag Gaming as Days, and see what one sticks the most.
Yeah.
Or hashtag Easter in February.
Hashtag go scrapping hungry. Yeah.
So, listeners, we're talking about hashtags. We are on Twitter. You can find us either at Chris Daems, ChrisDaems. You're on Twitter, aren't you, Charlotte?
Yeah.
So, what's your Twitter?
Charlotte J. Daems. So
Charlotte.
Most people misspelt my first name, so I'm gonna CharLotte.
Yep. J.
It's J and then Daems, much like my father.
And that's the way names normally work, I think. Unless you
get married. But
maybe. Sometimes it's different. And then we've got a Twitter handle for the Kindness Project, which is, and listen to this accent, listeners, hola! Kindness, HOLA, kindness. So, as we've been talking about Easter, and it's nowhere near Easter, I've got an egg-related question. You know I love eggs.
You love eggs.
I love eggs in virtually everything. And I've got a feeling we'll probably be talking about quite a lot of food over the coming week. But, question of the podcast, what's the best use of an egg? Is it an omelette? Is it boiled? Or is it Cadbury's creamed?
I think it's... So you missed a couple.
See,
you missed fried and you missed scrambled, but I personally think omelette, because Cadbury's cream, they're really sweet and they're really weirdly tasting. Fried? Did you say fried or boiled?
I didn't say fried.
You said boiled. Boiled. If you do it wrong, and most people do it wrong, practically everyone does it wrong unless you're like a master chef. It's hard and yellow and smushy.
See, I don't think a boiled egg's that tough, but I think what most people do. Listen to me, the man who burns water, right? Talking about cooking, but I'm good at eggs, aren't I? I do.
He makes the best omelettes.
I do a good omelette. So when it comes to eggs, any other food stuff, I don't think I'm qualified to talk about. But eggs I can do. So I think you can underboil an egg. But a hard-boiled egg, it's really difficult to get wrong, isn't it?
Yeah, but they have a weird texture.
They do.
It's like, I always, if I'm eating a hard-boiled egg, I'll eat the white, but I'll take out the middle and give it to you.
True. But the thing is, Sophie's my 6-year-old daughter and Charlotte's sister, does the same thing. So we had eggs yesterday, didn't she? And she sort of said, here's half of the egg.
Yeah, but it was a fried egg, and she gave you the yolk as well.
And then she took it back and went, I'm only yolking.
Let's
not even go there with bad jokes.
But she just put the whites in a egg and bacon sandwich.
She did. But we haven't talked about the best use of an egg yet. My favourite use of an egg in a curry. Our local curry house does a dish called the Murgi Masala. And listeners,
every time.
it is the king of curries.
You missed talking about the chicken tikka. You're talking about the king of curries.
Well, maybe the king of curries is a question for a later podcast. But I think the king of curries is definitely the Meik Masala.
Because it's got a giant boiled egg in it.
Yeah, so it's like a treasure hunt. So you're eating the curry and it's really nice, and suddenly you find this boiled egg in the middle, which is awesome. So you know who we are now. You're going to be learning about us. We're only on podcast 2, so you're going to be learning a lot about us over the next coming weeks and months.
Hopefully you don't completely forget who we are.
Hopefully. We'll remind you and we'll have a random question. But we want to know from you, what is your favourite egg-based dish? Is it boiled? Is it scrambled? Is it fried? Is it curried? Is it chocolate? Is it deep fried? Scottish style? Now, I don't know whether you can do that. Yeah, is it the Scotch egg? Is it the Scotch egg? Because that's one we've missed. Yeah. That is awesome, right? So, as I said, you can tweet us at Holla Kindness. You can find us on the website www.thekindnessproject.co.uk. You can email us at... Oh, Charlotte doesn't know what the email address is yet.
I didn't memorise it yet.
Holla at The Kindness Project. HOLA at The Kindness Project.
So like hello at The Kindness Project?
Yeah, a bit of a Spanish hello. Yeah.
I'm guessing hello kindness was already taken.
Well, hello kindness was already taken on Twitter, so I had to make a judgment call about what to do. And
can you translate it into something like Japanese or something?
Well, it could have been konnichiwa kindness. It could have been bonjour kindness. It could have been howdy kindness. But in the end, I went for holla as our choice. But enough of this nonsensical witterings of a man and his daughter. Should we get on with talking about kindness?
Yes, sir.
And welcome back to episode 2 of Kindness News. And I want to share a personal bit of kindness before we start Kindness News proper. Charlotte's done something really kind and just made me a really lovely cup of tea. It's got 1 sugar in, but tasting it, I can't decide whether it's 1 shovelful, a teaspoonful, dessert spoonful, or actually a bag. So can you just confirm 1 what?
1 spoonful.
1 spoonful. Was it a big spoon or a little spoon?
It was a big spoon.
That's probably why it tastes the way it does. But thank you for making it for me anyway. So you've got some kindness news for us this week that you want to share?
Yes, I do.
Cool. Take it away.
So around Christmas time last year, I think, there was these 2 guys, and they went around just doing anonymous acts of kindness.
Cool.
So they didn't tell anyone who they were. They started out by going to a skating rink, helping people tie their shoelaces and helping people get comfortable and nice and helping them skate.
How's your skating?
Terrible. I went the other day and I was there for an hour and a half and I managed to fall over 17 times.
That must be a record for an hour and a half.
Probably. But you can't get a record for failing.
No, just keep on. You just fail and get up and try again, right?
Yeah. So the slogan for these 2 guys is a little kindness, big smiles, better world. 1 week, the men spent time handing out homemade cookies as well as coffees and Timbits.
Timbits? What are Timbits?
I don't know.
Oh, right, okay.
One man said that was really, really nice, really nice. Why he repeated that phrase, I do not know.
Okay, really nice, really nice.
After he got a free coffee and treats from the men while waiting for a ferry on Tuesday morning.
Oh, cool. So they just went round, didn't want to be named, and just did random acts of kindness.
And most of the time, the gestures are small and cost very little, but the men say a little kindness can go a long way, and sometimes it's the small gestures that can help make someone's day a little brighter.
Love it. Absolutely love it. So would you like to hear my story?
Yes.
My story comes from Sacramento, and it's about a homeless man who's living on the streets and is now homed, is housed, he's got a home, after his Christmas wish was granted by 2 women who wanted to provide an act of kindness. A lady called Jodie Revac said, every day I would drive past him, hand him $1 here and a couple of quarters there, because this is in the States, and she saw him every single day. And a couple of days before this act of kindness, she was driving up, rolled down her window and asked the homeless man, if you could get anything for Christmas, what would it be? And he just said, I would want to get home and see my sister. And Revac said, yeah, I can help you with that. And he just started crying because nobody had shown him that level of compassion. So Revac and her friend Stephanie Rice launched a plan to provide Alan Duffney, the guy who was homeless, with his Christmas wish. They bought him a ticket to travel by bus the next day from Sacramento to his sister's home in Tennessee. Revac said there was something about him that I just connected with, and she wanted to give back. So she bought the ticket to go and see his sister for Christmas. And obviously his sister now, has put him up. So what do you think of that?
I think that's something that really most people when they walk past a homeless person, they just ignore them. Yeah. Which I think is quite sad. Okay. Because we were walking in London the other day, and I said it to you, we walked past, six homeless people in span of 5 minutes, and it just made me really sad that everyone was just ignoring them. You know what?
I think recently, we've spoken about this before, but I think recently I've noticed how many homeless people live in London, where before you still sort of get acclimatised to not seeing people. And the thing that sort of struck me, especially recently, is all of those people would rather be somewhere else. Do you know what I mean? They'd rather be. Yeah. And what's gone sort of severely wrong with their lives to put them in that position, and how can you help? And I think small acts of kindness by saying, look, I'm going to buy you a bus ticket to go and see your sister who might be able to provide you with support is an awesome thing to do. Yeah.
At school the other day, we had some guests in, and they were police officers, and they were saying that sometimes what homeless people do is, come winter time, they commit petty crimes
to get locked up.
Because at least then they get warm shelter, feds. Yeah. And I think that's just
certainly this time of the year is the time of the year you don't want to be out in the streets because it's freezing cold. Potentially it's dangerous. So the fact that those two women helped that guy in that way is an awesome kindness story that I love. Okay, well that's it for kindness news this week. So Charlotte, have you ever heard of a word? Not any old word. A word. Hygge.
I've heard you mention it, but other than that, no.
Yeah. So do you know what it means?
No, I don't think so.
So Hygge is a Danish word, and it's really difficult to put into English because it means, the probably easiest way of doing it is just feeling comfortable and cosy with friends and being in an environment where you feel safe. And actually, there's more to it than that. And there was a guy.
Do no other languages have a word for it?
You know what? There probably is words in other languages, and I know that there's a guy called Meik Wiking who's got the awesome job as CEO of the Happiness Research Institute. So his job is just to research happiness. And he started on home turf looking at what makes people in Denmark happy. And a part of that is Hygge. So that was his first book. But in his second book, he looked at what makes people happy around the world. So he looked at the Danish word for happiness, which is Lykke. I've pronounced that completely wrong, I think. Let me try on Google Translate.
Lykke.
Lykke.
It sounds more like Lykke.
You could be right. Now, you and I know that my pronunciations aren't the best in the world.
No, they're not.
No, they're not. But we'll let that go for now, and we'll go with that pronunciation.
Unless it's English, you can pronounce it English just fine.
Yeah, I can pronounce. I'm okay at English, not in any other accent but my own. Apart from my Birmingham, that's all right.
God, no.
Are we not doing Bram? Are we not doing Birmingham? So, in this book, Meik Wiking, again, apologies if you're listening because I've probably got that completely wrong, talks about the reasons that most people are happy. So what do you think some of those reasons might be?
Other people, kindness.
Other people. What do you mean by other people?
Friends, family.
Okay, yeah. Being together with friends and family, yeah. Kindness is one, which is the reason we're talking about it today.
Yeah, exactly why I brought it up.
Yeah. What else do you think it is?
Don't know. I'm not sure.
So the things that he explores in this book, and again, it's available on Amazon or in Foyles or your bookshop or book website of choice, is togetherness, money, although the relationship between money and well-being and happiness are probably a bit more complicated than you'd expect. Yeah. Health, because it's really important to be fit and healthy. Freedom, trust, and last but definitely not least, kindness. And the example that he mentions in the book is of a guy based in London, actually, called the Free Help Guy.
Well, I have heard of him, yeah.
Have you really?
Yeah.
What have you heard?
He gives out free help
He-
in London.
You know what? Strangely enough, as his name alludes to, he does give out free help in London. And he does it completely anonymously. So he does it without expecting any credit for his actions at all, but just goes around helping loads of different people.
Yeah, but surely someone knows that he's the free help guy.
It's like any sort of like superhero, isn't it? So somebody knows who Batman is, and somebody knows who
Alfred.
Superman. Alfred knows who Batman is. Somebody knows who Superman is.
Superman.
Superman knows who Superman is.
Yes.
No, who knows who Superman is?
No, I don't know.
I can't remember.
Who knows who Iron Man is?
Everybody knows Everyone knows who. Iron Man. Out of all the superheroes, Iron Man is a bit. Tony Stark is a bit of a show.
And Iron Man knows who Spider-Man is.
That's true, and I feel like I'm going round a Marvel universe circle now. So anyway, the free help guy, he's like a London's anonymous superhero going around just doing acts of kindness, and his story was written by Meik Wiking in the little book of Lykke. Is that how we say it? Lykke, we're saying it like that.
Saying it like that.
Now, also in the book, he talks about 5 random things that you can do this week to help other people. What do you think some of those things might be?
Don't know. Remembering people's names.
One of them is certainly remembering people's names. And I think, from personal experience, and I'll try and do this, I think that really has an impact in terms of, other people feeling better about themselves because you remember their name. And guess what? If you remember their name,
they're going to remember your names.
In my experience, that's always been the case.
Most of the time. If they want to remember your name, they'll remember your name. And if you're kind to them, they'll want to remember your name.
I think so. Another one is leave a gift on somebody's doorstep. Now, what gift would you leave?
See, I don't know. Probably a book. Really a thin book.
You know what? Why a thin book?
They're easier to read through.
Okay, so
and just put no pictures.
So I like the idea of giving books away because I try and do that all the time. But leaving a gift on somebody's doorstep in book form might be a good thing to do. How about a bag of your favourite sweets, Werther's Originals?
Don't take them.
Don't take them.
Don't take them.
So you're not giving away sweets, right?
No. Okay. Not Werther's Originals. I can give you some pinballs, but no Werther's Originals.
Okay, so that's fine. Number 3 on the list was make 2 lunches and give 1 away. See, I like that idea. We're going to be exploring a bit because we did something recently that was pretty similar to that.
Yeah.
What do you think of this one? Talk to the shy person who's by themselves at a party or at the office.
Well, I do that. There's a bench at school and, usually people sit on it when they're alone.
Okay.
And I just go up to them, I start chatting. Sometimes they walk away and sometimes I just continue the conversation.
Okay. But, you tried to help out.
I try.
Exactly. And guess what number 5 is? The last one.
Smiling?
No, but I'm going to talk about smiling in a minute because smiling is mentioned in the book. Number 5 is, and I'll tell you, because you're absolutely awesome, is give somebody a genuine compliment.
I saw that coming. You're awesome. I'm like, oh my God, it's a compliment, isn't it?
What do you mean, oh my God, it's a compliment? I love a compliment.
Oh, I don't like getting compliments.
Oh, why not?
I don't know, I just don't like them.
Well, I'm going to give you one anyway. You're lovely. Feel free to reciprocate.
You have very nice hair.
What, the remaining hair I've got left, you mean?
Yeah, it's very nice.
Oh, thank you.
Suits you.
Oh, thank you. What are you going to say when all the hair drops out?
You've got very nice hair, it suits you.
You've got a very nice shaped head. I don't know.
You've got very nice ears.
You got well, not. I mean, the size is prominent, but the rest of it's not true. But you mentioned smiling, right?
Yeah.
So I think smiling is a really nice thing to do. Mm-hmm. However, in some countries, smiling too much is seen as a sign of lower intelligence.
What?
I know. I was surprised at that. It's in the book, the little book of Lykke, and it talks about how in some countries excessive smiling is seen as not a good sign. So what countries do you think that might be?
Japan?
Yeah. I think certainly in Japan, the research says that Japan has a negative visualisation of people smiling too much.
So where are we on the chart? Do we think people who smile too much are stupid?
No, we don't.
That makes me a total idiot.
We actually think that people who smile quite a lot are more intelligent. And actually the countries that think smiling makes you seem more intelligent or has no impact on how they perceive intelligence is a lot more than the countries who think that smiling has a negative impact. So I suppose the message there is keep on smiling. Weirdly, what country do you think is top on the countries that think that smiling is perceived in a positive light, makes you seem more intelligent?
The US?
So the US sees it positively, but not in any massive way. The biggest one is Germany.
So no, that's kind of...
Unexpected?
Yeah, that's the words.
So Germany, Switzerland, Malaysia and China.
So Switzerland I can see, China I can see.
Yeah.
The other two I'm not sure.
See, I've been to Malaysia, and Malaysia is a particularly smiley country. They do like to smile in Malaysia.
But France is a particularly smiley country, and you said it was on the list of the lower ones, didn't you?
Have we been to the same France? Because I didn't think France was a particularly smiley country.
All the waiters, they just seem to come and smile.
Fair enough. So the tip for today's Kindness Project main event is definitely take a look at the little book of Lykke, because it's certainly worth a read, not only for the kindness elements, but also for the other tips on how to lead a happier, healthier life. But have a look at the chapter on kindness, because it's certainly worth a read.
And don't forget to smile.
And don't forget to smile. So that's it for another episode of the Kindness Project. But before we go, we've got a couple of responses from our question of the podcast last week, which was...
if you could be a character from your favourite book, which one would you be?
So we've got some answers. Who do you think came out as really popular?
Voldemort.
Voldemort wasn't nobody. Would you pick Voldemort?
No, I wouldn't.
You know what? Weirdly, we didn't get any Harry Potter responses.
Did we not?
No, we got no Harry Potter responses, so nobody said Harry Potter. Now, if my wife's mum is listening, what are you up to? Do you know what I mean? We know you love...
You should be commenting on this.
Yeah. I'm not saying what character you should be, Voldemort, but but you really should be writing in. No, obviously, Bob, you're more like Harry Potter, so please do let us know. However, let me give you some real answers. So, Nadeem has said the character he'd pick would be...
Poirot.
Hercule Poirot. Now, you like Agatha Christie books, don't you?
I've never actually read a Marvel, but I've read loads and loads and loads and loads and loads of Poirot. And I went and watched the Murder on the Orient Express movie the other day, and I kept noticing little differences between the book version of him and the movie version of him.
Gotcha. So Hercule Poirot is a good choice. Number one is from Belgium.
Yeah.
Number two is a detective.
Yeah.
And you like detective novels, don't you?
Detective novel.
And he's written by... I like Agatha Christie, but then There Were None is my favourite Agatha Christie book. So that's a really good choice.
There's a reason she's known as the Queen of Murder Mystery.
So Meik FitzGerald's come back to us with Pug the Magician from the Raymond E. Feist books. Now, I've never heard of them.
Me neither.
So that's been a really good...
He's a legend, apparently.
Apparently, according to the comment, he's an absolute legend. So I'm going to have to take a look at those books and see...
If you know anything about them or where we can get them, that'd be nice.
Well, I'm sure that,
Amazon
the usual...
can do us some favours.
Cheers, Amazon. Or Foyles or whatever, your bookshop of choice. Russell's gone a bit serious. This is Russell Daems, my brother, who's chosen to get involved. I don't really read much non-fiction, but I would love the mind of Isaac Newton. He's not asking for much. He's modest in his ambitions. He wants the mind of Isaac Newton. Newton? The mind of Isaac Newton and the moral standing of Nikola Tesla. Now, I'm not convinced that's right, because didn't Nikola Tesla lose the race to be the face of electricity? I don't know. Don't know. But obviously his ambitions are modest, and we've also had a comment from me old mate Darren Cooke, who's an awesome fella, and he said, I'd be Arch-Chancellor Ridgely of the Unseen University. Now, do you know where that's from?
No.
So that is from one of the best fictional universes ever made,
Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
That's good.
Damn it,
This one's similar,
Was I close?
but not quite. Terry Pratchett's Discworld. So if you haven't read a Terry Pratchett's Discworld novel, you certainly should pick one up.
I've read, I think, one Terry Pratchett, but that was like a year ago.
Okay. Yeah, he's written some awesome stuff. However, we've also had some feedback from our questions about kindness. And you had one recently, Charlotte, didn't you?
Yeah. I think the kindest thing anybody has ever done for me has been taking me somewhere they know I love just because they want me to be happy. And the kindest thing I think I've done for somebody was not letting anybody disrespect them because they mean so much to me.
So that is really, really nice. So do you think somebody sort of accompanying them to somewhere they love is quite a kind thing to do?
Yeah, because like sometimes you just don't want to go alone.
Yeah, so it's a nice thing to do. Now, we want to hear more stories of kindness. Yeah. We want more responses to either your favourite character in a book or any of the questions of the week that are coming or today's. So feel free to let us know. And where can people get in touch with us, Charlotte?
Oh, I think we did this earlier. It's at Holla Kindness.
At Holla Kindness, HOLA Kindness.
Yep.
Or
Holla at thekindnessproject.co.uk.
Absolutely right.
Yes.
And you can find all the show notes and everything about today's episode on www.thekindnessproject.co.uk. Should we give a shout out to our own individual Twitters?
Oh, yeah, sure. At Charlotte J. Daems. CHARLOTTE. J, it's obviously just J. Daems, DAEMS.
And mine is Chris, CHRIS, Daems, D for Delta, A for Alphabet, E for Enigma, M for Mother, S for Sugar, at Chris Daems. You can find me on Twitter. So until next time on The Kindness Project, have a great week and we'll see you soon.
Bye.